Respect begins within. If you do not recognize the weight of your own existence, the world will not either. Every human being carries a unique light, a flame that has the power to warm, guide, and inspire others. Yet, when you forget this, when you allow yourself to shrink, people will treat you as if your presence is dispensable. Self-worth is the foundation upon which respect is built. It is not arrogance, nor is it pride. It is a quiet recognition of who you are and what you bring to the world. When you honor yourself, you train others to honor you. When you ignore yourself, you invite others to ignore you. The way you carry yourself speaks louder than any demand for respect you could ever make. Self-worth is not something given. It is something discovered. Many wait for external validation, applause, recognition, or words of affirmation. But this is like waiting for the world to tell you that you exist. True self-worth must arise from within, independent of who praises you or who ignores you. Imagine a mountain. Even if no one climbs it, even if no one admires it, the mountain still stands tall, unmoved. That is the essence of self-worth. You must be grounded in the knowing that your value does not decrease when others fail to see it. The moment you allow others' opinions to dictate your worth, you surrender your dignity. But when you know deep in your spirit who you are, you become untouchable, and respect naturally flows toward you. To command respect, you must first respect yourself in the smallest of choices. How you speak to yourself matters. How you care for your body matters. How you spend your time matters. These are not minor details. They are reflections of how deeply you value yourself. If you neglect your well-being, if you allow toxic habits to consume your days, you are silently telling yourself that you are not worthy of better. And this message leaks into how others perceive you. Respect cannot be demanded with words if your actions contradict your worth. A disciplined life, a mindful life, sends out a signal, I value myself. And in response, the world mirrors that respect back to you. Respect is not born from noise, it is born from presence. A river does not shout, yet its power is undeniable. In the same way, self-worth commands respect without needing to constantly prove itself. Many people chase validation, exhausting themselves to be liked or accepted. But self-worth does not beg, it attracts. When you carry yourself with quiet confidence, with the certainty that your value is not negotiable, people sense it. They may not always agree with you, but they cannot deny the strength of your presence. This strength comes from within, from the unshakable understanding that you are complete as you are. And when you live from that place, respect becomes the natural outcome, not the pursuit. There will always be those who test your worth. They may ignore you, belittle you, or take advantage of your kindness. But their treatment of you does not define you, it defines them. What defines you is how you respond. If you allow disrespect to continue, if you stay silent in the face of being diminished, you train others to treat you as less. But when you stand firm, when you set boundaries and refuse to be reduced, you remind both yourself and others that your presence carries weight. Respect does not mean everyone will like you, but it does mean that even those who disagree cannot easily dismiss you. Your response to disrespect reveals whether you truly know your worth. Self-worth is inseparable from discipline. To honor yourself means to live in alignment with your highest values. Respect comes when people see consistency between your words and your actions. If you claim to value yourself but constantly compromise your principles, people sense the contradiction. They see that your worth is negotiable. But when you hold steady, when you say no to what diminishes you and yes to what elevates you, you embody respect. Discipline is not punishment, it is self-recognition. It is the daily act of saying, I am worthy of structure, of order, of growth. This message not only strengthens you, it teaches the world how to interact with you. Respect is not earned through chasing others, it is earned by standing still in truth. Too often, people lose themselves trying to be everything for everyone, hoping that in return, they will be valued. But the opposite happens. The more you bend, the less respect you receive. People respect clarity, not desperation. To command respect, you must be willing to stand alone if necessary. When you no longer fear being alone, you no longer fear losing others. And when you no longer fear losing others, you gain their respect because they realize you are not dependent on their approval. Freedom from needing validation is the soil in which self-worth blossoms. The deepest form of respect is not given by others. It is the respect you cultivate for yourself when no one is watching. Do you keep promises to yourself? Do you rise when you said you would? Do you finish what you begin? These silent commitments build inner strength. And when that strength becomes visible in your character, others cannot help but respect it. Self-worth is not loud, it is steady. It is the quiet power of someone who does not abandon themselves, regardless of the storms outside. When people witness that, even those who once doubted you must acknowledge your presence. True self-worth does not need defense. It shines naturally through integrity. It is important to understand that respect is not about control, it is about alignment. You cannot force others to honor you, but you can choose to align yourself only with those who recognize your value. This is the freedom self-worth provides, the ability to walk away from places where you are treated as less, and to walk toward places where you are seen fully. The world is vast, and not everyone will see you, but those who do will meet you with respect. And the key is this: you do not shrink for those who don't. You stand tall, knowing your worth is constant. Alignment, not force, is how self-worth commands respect. In the end, self-worth is the silent command that shapes how the world treats you. If you believe you are worthy, you act accordingly. If you believe you are small, you act accordingly. The world mirrors what you project. Respect begins not with others, but with the way you look at yourself every morning. Do you rise with dignity? Do you carry yourself as someone who matters? Because the truth is, you do. You were not created to be an option, an afterthought, or a shadow in someone else's life. You were created to live fully, to stand firmly, and to remind the world through your presence, I am worthy, and my worth commands respect. A life without boundaries is like a house without walls. Everything flows in and everything flows out until nothing remains protected. Your spirit, your energy, and your peace are treasures, yet without boundaries, they become vulnerable to exploitation. People will always take as much as you allow, not always out of malice, but often out of habit or ignorance. Boundaries are not barriers against love or connection. They are shields that preserve the purity of your being. To protect your spirit is not selfishness, it is self-respect. Just as you lock your doors at night to protect your home, you must lock the doors of your heart and mind to those who come only to consume, but never to contribute. Without these protective walls, your spirit is drained, leaving you empty for yourself and for those who truly deserve your presence. Many people mistake kindness for weakness and openness for permission. They assume that if you are always available, you are always expendable. This is why boundaries are essential. They teach others how to treat you, not through confrontation, but through clarity. A boundary is a line that says, here I give, and here I must protect. It is the recognition that your energy is finite and your spirit must be preserved to live with strength and dignity. Without boundaries, your time, attention, and love are scattered. People who respect you will honor your limits. Those who exploit you will resist them. And in that resistance, you learn who belongs in your life. Boundaries, then, are not walls that shut others out. They are filters that reveal who is meant to walk with you. Your spirit is like a flame, powerful, bright, capable of lighting the way. But if you let everyone draw from it without care, the flame weakens. Boundaries are the glass that protects the fire from harsh winds. They allow your light to shine without being extinguished. Too often, people confuse over giving with love. They think sacrificing themselves endlessly will make others appreciate them. But in truth, when you give beyond your limits, you do not create gratitude. You create dependence. And dependence often turns into entitlement. Protecting your spirit through boundaries means you give from abundance, not depletion. When you say no at the right time, you ensure that every yes you offer is genuine, powerful, and aligned with your values. That is how your spirit remains strong and untouchable. A boundary is not a punishment to others, it is a gift to yourself. Too often, people feel guilty for saying no, believing they are rejecting others. But the reality is that every no to what drains you is a yes to your growth, your peace, and your balance. Without boundaries, you become a prisoner of other people's expectations. You bend, you exhaust, and eventually you lose yourself. But with boundaries, you reclaim your freedom. You are no longer defined by what others demand. You are defined by what you choose to allow. This is not hardness, it is clarity. Boundaries protect your spirit because they ensure you live according to your truth, not according to the shifting desires of others. And in that clarity, your relationships become healthier, more respectful, and more genuine. The absence of boundaries always leads to resentment. When you continuously give without regard for your own limits, you begin to feel unseen and unappreciated. Yet the truth is, you taught others to expect this by never saying enough. Boundaries are the antidote to this resentment. They prevent you from reaching the point where your kindness feels like a burden. Protecting your spirit is not about building distance from everyone. It is about creating balance. It is the wisdom of knowing when to step forward and when to step back. When your life is guided by clear boundaries, you no longer carry the silent weight of unspoken frustrations. Instead, you move with lightness because your energy is invested only where it can flourish, not where it is wasted. Boundaries also reveal the strength of your self-awareness. To know where to place limits, you must first know yourself, your values, your capacities, and your purpose. If you do not know these, you allow the world to shape you into whatever it desires. But when you are clear about who you are, boundaries flow naturally. You no longer fear disappointing others because you know you are not here to live as their shadow. Boundaries protect your spirit by keeping you aligned with your truth. They remind you that your life is not infinite, your time is precious, and your energy is sacred. To give it blindly to anyone who demands it is to dishonor your own soul. Boundaries, therefore, are acts of loyalty to yourself. It is important to understand that boundaries do not push away love. They purify it. The love that crumbles in the face of your limits was never love. It was convenience. True love, true friendship, true respect will always adjust to your boundaries because they are rooted in care, not control. Protecting your spirit with boundaries allows only genuine connections to remain. Those who stay despite your clarity are the ones who see you, not just what they can take from you. And those who leave were never truly with you. Boundaries protect you from illusions. They strip away the pretense and reveal who values you for who you are, not just for what you provide. This purification strengthens your spirit because you are surrounded only by what is real. Without boundaries, your life becomes scattered, and your energy leaks into places it does not belong. With boundaries, your focus sharpens. You conserve your spirit for what matters most: your growth, your purpose, and your true connections. Boundaries are not static walls. They are living, breathing expressions of your evolving journey. As you grow, your boundaries shift because what once was acceptable may no longer serve you. Protecting your spirit requires this constant reevaluation. It is an ongoing act of awareness, asking yourself, does this nourish me or does it drain me? With each boundary you honor, your life becomes more aligned, more powerful, and more peaceful. You stop scattering yourself thin and instead channel your energy into what truly matters. The world respects those who respect themselves. When you enforce boundaries, you communicate silently but powerfully. My spirit is valuable. People notice. Even those who may resist at first eventually adjust because they realize you cannot be manipulated. Boundaries are a form of silent strength. They do not need explanation. They simply exist. And over time, they shape the way others interact with you. Without boundaries, you are seen as a resource to be used. With boundaries, you are seen as a person to be respected. Protecting your spirit through this strength not only elevates your relationships, it elevates your own sense of dignity. You begin to walk differently, speak differently, and live differently, because you know your worth is no longer negotiable. In the end, boundaries are acts of love toward yourself. They are the declaration that your spirit matters, that your peace is non-negotiable, and that your presence cannot be reduced to convenience. To live without boundaries is to invite chaos. To live with them is to cultivate harmony. Protecting your spirit means you move through life with strength and clarity. You give without losing yourself, you love without betraying yourself, and you connect without abandoning yourself. Boundaries are not prisons, they are pathways that keep your spirit intact and your journey aligned. And when your spirit is protected, you shine with an unshakable light that cannot be dimmed. This is the power of boundaries. They are the guardians of your soul. There is a profound difference between being chosen and being convenient. To be chosen means that someone sees your essence, values your presence, and decides with intention to walk alongside you. To be convenient means that someone turns to you only when it benefits them, when their true options are absent, or when they need something you provide. The difference is respect. The difference is depth. Too often, people mistake attention for value. Just because someone reaches for you does not mean they cherish you. To protect your dignity, you must learn to see this difference clearly. Do not confuse temporary usefulness with genuine recognition. When you are chosen, you are honored. When you are convenient, you are used. And if you accept convenience as love, you will spend your life being half seen, never truly embraced. Convenience is shallow, while choice is deliberate. When someone chooses you, it is not because you are simply available. It is because you matter to them in a deeper way. Choice involves intention, sacrifice, and consistency. Convenience, on the other hand, requires nothing. It asks for no effort, no loyalty, and no true regard for your well-being. Many people accept convenience because they fear being alone. They confuse being needed with being valued. But being needed for convenience is not love, it is dependency. When someone only comes to you when it suits them, they are not choosing you, they are choosing themselves, and you are merely a tool in their plan. To understand this difference is to free yourself from the trap of false connections. Being chosen carries weight. It means that someone is willing to stand by you even when it is not easy. They make room for you not because you fit into their schedule, but because you fit into their heart. Convenience, however, disappears when difficulty arises. If someone is only there when it costs them nothing, they are not truly with you. To be chosen is to be respected. To be convenient is to be exploited. Recognize the difference, and you will no longer cling to those who appear in your life only when it suits them. Instead, you will reserve your presence for those who make space for you even when it is not simple, even when it requires effort. That is the mark of being truly chosen. The danger of living as someone's convenience is that it erodes your spirit slowly. At first, you may feel needed, even important. But over time, the pattern reveals itself. They call only when lonely. They reach only when desperate. They return only when others have gone. And once their need is fulfilled, you are left unseen again. This cycle breeds emptiness, resentment, and a silent belief that you are not worthy of more. But you are. You are not here to be a substitute for absence. You are here to be honored in presence. When you realize this truth, you stop giving yourself away to those who treat you as a temporary fix. You begin to wait for the depth of being chosen, not the illusion of being convenient. Being chosen is rare, and that is why it is precious. Not everyone will see your light. Not everyone will understand your spirit, and not everyone is meant to. Convenience is common. It requires nothing more than being available. But being chosen requires alignment, vision, and mutual respect. That is why you must never lower yourself into the comfort of being convenient. The one who truly chooses you will not need to be begged. They will not make you guess your place. Their actions will reveal their intention. And when that moment arrives, you will understand why you had to let go of convenience. Because only by letting go of the temporary could you make space for the true. Convenience is easy to accept because it feeds the ego temporarily. It gives the illusion of importance, but it does not nourish the soul. Being chosen, however, feeds the spirit. It allows you to grow, to trust, and to build something lasting. Convenience keeps you in uncertainty. You are never sure if their presence is genuine. Being chosen removes doubt, because their consistency speaks louder than words. To accept convenience as love is to settle for crumbs when you deserve the full meal. And the longer you accept crumbs, the harder it becomes to believe you are worthy of more. But the moment you decide that convenience is not enough, you reclaim your dignity. That decision alone elevates your spirit to a higher ground. Being chosen is different because it requires effort from both sides. It is not one person carrying the weight while the other simply receives. It is balance, it is harmony. Convenience, however, is one-sided. You pour while they take. You show up while they disappear. And this imbalance drains you. Protect your energy by recognizing when someone's actions reveal convenience, not choice. Words can deceive, but consistency cannot. The one who chooses you will not only speak, they will act. They will show up. They will remain when it is difficult. And that is how you distinguish the temporary from the eternal. Do not fear walking away from convenience, for it is in leaving behind what is shallow that you open the door to what is deep. When you allow yourself to be treated as convenient, you unconsciously teach others that your worth is flexible, negotiable, and cheap. But when you insist on being chosen, you remind the world that your presence is valuable. Boundaries are the bridge between convenience and choice. By saying no to those who only come when it suits them, you are saying yes to your own dignity. This shift is not easy, because it may require walking away from people you once cared for deeply. But understand this, if they cannot choose you fully, then they are not aligned with your spirit. To cling to them is to betray yourself. To release them is to honor yourself. And in that honor, you protect the sacredness of your being. To be chosen is to be seen. Not for your utility, not for your availability, but for your essence. It is the difference between someone loving what you give and someone loving who you are. When you are chosen, you are valued not for the role you play, but for the soul you embody. Convenience does not require seeing, it requires only taking. But to choose someone is to witness them fully, flaws and all, and still remain. That is why being chosen is so powerful. It creates a foundation of authenticity. And in such relationships, your spirit flourishes because it is no longer reduced to usefulness. It is embraced for its truth. In the end, you must remember this: you are not here to be convenient. You are not a placeholder, not an afterthought, not a backup plan. You are here to be chosen, not by everyone, but by those who truly recognize your worth. And until you are chosen, you must stand firm in your dignity, refusing to settle for temporary attention. Convenience may fill the silence for a moment, but being chosen fills the soul for a lifetime. Do not confuse the two. Do not lower yourself into the shallow waters of convenience when you were meant to swim in the depth of being truly chosen. When you carry this truth in your heart, you no longer chase, you no longer beg. You simply stand, and those who are meant for you will come, not out of convenience but out of choice. There is a moment in life when silence speaks louder than words, and distance carries more weight than confrontation. That moment is when you walk away. To many, walking away looks like weakness, as if endurance means staying no matter how much it hurts. But the truth is, walking away is often the purest form of strength. It is the recognition that you will no longer invest your spirit where it is disrespected, neglected, or diminished. To stay in such places is to betray yourself. To leave is to honor yourself. Walking away is not escape, it is clarity. It is choosing peace over chaos, dignity over disrespect, and growth over stagnation. And only the strong can do this, because it takes courage to leave behind what is familiar in order to walk toward what is truly aligned with your worth. Strength is not always about holding on. Sometimes it is about letting go. Many people cling to toxic relationships, draining environments, or false opportunities because they fear loss. They equate leaving with failure. But walking away is not failure, it is wisdom. It means you have recognized the cost of staying is greater than the fear of leaving. It means you have looked at yourself honestly and asked, does this honor my spirit? If the answer is no, then walking away becomes an act of self-respect. True strength is not found in enduring abuse or neglect. It is found in refusing to let those things define you. To walk away is to reclaim your power, to remind yourself that you deserve more than crumbs. It is to declare, through your actions, that your worth is not negotiable. Walking away is not about pride, but about preservation. A tree cannot grow in poisoned soil, no matter how much sunlight or rain it receives. If the roots are surrounded by toxins, it will wither. In the same way, your spirit cannot thrive in environments that suffocate you. You may hope for change, you may pour your energy into fixing what is broken, but sometimes the soil is simply not meant for you. Walking away means you have chosen to plant yourself in healthier ground. It is not a rejection of others, it is an affirmation of yourself. Strength lies in knowing when to stop fighting for what cannot nourish you. And once you step away, you will feel the lightness that comes from no longer carrying the weight of what was never yours to bear. There is power in stillness, and walking away creates that space. When you leave situations that drain you, you open a door for clarity to enter. In the noise of struggle, you cannot hear your own voice. But once you step away, the silence reveals truth. You begin to see how much of yourself you lost trying to hold on. You begin to notice how peace feels compared to chaos. Walking away is not about closing your heart. It is about creating space for something better. It is an act of courage because it requires trust in the unknown. You must believe that by leaving behind what diminishes you, you create room for what elevates you. And that belief, that trust, is a strength greater than any force that kept you chained in the first place. Strength is not measured by how much pain you can endure, but by how much self-respect you can embody. Walking away is the highest form of this respect. It says, I refuse to let my spirit be broken for the comfort of others. People may misunderstand, judge, or criticize you for leaving, but their perception is irrelevant. What matters is your alignment with your own dignity. To stay where you are undervalued is to accept a life of silent suffering. To leave is to affirm that your worth is greater than someone else's convenience. And though it hurts to walk away, pain is temporary, while dignity lasts forever. The scars of staying in the wrong place cut deeper than the momentary sting of leaving. True strength is knowing which pain to endure and choosing the one that sets you free. Walking away requires discipline of the heart. The heart longs to hold on, to remember the good moments, to hope that change will come. But strength asks, at what cost? Discipline means recognizing when hope has become a chain. It means choosing reality over illusion. Walking away does not mean you did not love or that you did not care. It means you loved yourself enough not to be destroyed in the process. To honor your own boundaries, to preserve your peace, to protect your spirit, that is the work of discipline. Many think strength is loud, forceful, unyielding. But in truth, strength is often quiet, soft, and decisive. Walking away is the kind of strength that whispers, "I deserve better," and then moves toward it without looking back. There will always be fear in leaving, fear of loneliness, fear of uncertainty, fear of regret. But courage is not the absence of fear. It is the decision to move forward despite it. Walking away means trusting that what lies ahead holds greater promise than what lies behind. It means you no longer accept crumbs of respect when you deserve the full measure. Fear may whisper, "What if you are alone?" But strength replies, "Better to be alone in peace than surrounded in disrespect." Fear may whisper, "What if you regret leaving?" But strength replies, "Regret is living in betrayal of myself." Walking away is not about guarantees. It is about faith. Faith in yourself, faith in your worth, and faith in the life that opens once you refuse to settle. Walking away is also a lesson for others. When you refuse to remain where you are disrespected, you teach people how to treat you. You show them that your boundaries are not negotiable and that your presence is not to be taken for granted. Those who truly value you will adjust, will reflect, and may even grow from your absence. Those who only sought convenience will simply move on to their next option. Either way, you win, because your action clarified who was real and who was not. Walking away is not only for you, it is also a mirror for others. It reflects the truth of the relationship, and in that reflection, you free yourself from illusions and protect your spirit from further harm. There is a quiet dignity in walking away without anger, without bitterness, without revenge. True strength does not need to prove itself through shouting or conflict. It simply says, "This no longer serves me," and steps into a new chapter. Anger binds you to what you are leaving behind. Bitterness keeps you chained to the past. But strength walks away in peace, carrying only the lessons forward. This is not avoidance. It is transcendence. It is the wisdom to rise above what tried to diminish you, without carrying its weight any longer. The greatest power lies not in destroying what hurt you, but in refusing to let it continue to touch your spirit. And that power is found in the simple act of walking away with dignity. In the end, walking away is not weakness. It is liberation. It is the reminder that your life is too precious to be wasted in places where your worth is not recognized. Walking away is strength because it requires courage, discipline, and self-respect. It is saying no to chains, no to disrespect, no to half-love, and yes to freedom, peace, and alignment. Do not let anyone convince you that leaving is failure. Failure is staying where you are dying inside. Strength is walking away and choosing life again. And when you walk away, you do not walk into emptiness. You walk into possibility. You step into the open space where your spirit can breathe, where respect can grow, and where true connection can finally find you. Walking away is not the end. It is the beginning of becoming whole.